Hello and good day to Mr. Mehan, our lecturer. And today, my group and I were going to pick on the second option, which is on the movie review. So the movie that my group and I has picked or choose is a movie that is titled Crooked E, The Unshredded Truth About Enron. So basically, from the title itself, you can see that this movie is based on a true story that has happened to the Enron company, which is scandaling in the 20th century. So moving on to the next slide. Before I start with our presentation, I would like to introduce myself. I am Valerie Palaisanat Janin with metric number 186030. So for my part, I will be extending on the summary or the overview of the movie, the Crooked E, okay? Next. So what is Crooked E about? As we all know, Enron has been scandalized in big money laundering from the Americans, and it's a fact-based drama chronicling the scandal surrounding the collapse of the American company, which is called Enron, which left employees jobless and thousands of people without their life savings. And one of the scandals that we're relating to this case is that there are a lot of suicide happened because the employees, the people who invest in this company, they lost a lot of money. Okay, and it's based on insiders' memoirs starring Kristen Kane, Shannon Elizabeth, and Mike Farrell. Next. So for the main cast and crew in this movie is Brian Cruver, which is played by Kristen Kane, Kenneth Lay, played by Mike Farrell, Mr. Blue, played by Brian Dennehy, Court Cruver, played by Shannon Elizabeth, and the director played as Penelope Spheeris. Next. So more into the story, a bit detail about the story. The film is related to the perspective of Cooper himself, which is played by Kristen Kane, and here he is a brilliant young man who just finished his MBA studies, and he is hired by Enron, and he was dazzled and seduced by the company's get rich quick by whatever means necessary credo, which is what he picked up from the company. And the obscenely extravagant Enron culture represented by endless office parties and mobile young ladies, which is what is portrayed in the film. It was built upon the backs of the company's stakeholders and lower echelon employees. And when everything inevitably crashed and burned in the spring of 2002, it was the little people who suffered the most. Next. Although several live personalities are portrayed in the film, among them Enron CEO Ken Late, played by Mike Farrell, Executive Jeff Skilling, played by John Tedwayne, and conscience-stricken whistleblower Sharon Watkins, and many of the other characters are the composites of this movie. And the chief is among of the mysterious, sinister Enron higher up, known as the Mr. Blue in the drama, and whose primary function is to spout blatantly mercenary exposition. So moving on to the next part, this will be presented by my other friend. So we invite.
Thank you, Valerie. My name is Nurul Anisani binti Hussein. My metric number is 1999788. So I will continue with my part, which is the core issues raised in the movie. Enron Corporation, an energy company, was involved in one of the most severe economic scandals. The company was also a commodities and service organization that serves much of the country. Multitudes of financial results issued by the company have been found to be based on a systemic scam that can be distilled down to pure accounting fraud. Enron's relationship with accounting firm Arthur Andersen had been challenged numerous times. Questionable accounting techniques were brought to light, and many suspect that the stage of fraud was lingering around the business. During the profitable years, Enron's stock price was about 50 per share. The stock closed on 2001 at an ultimate low of 26 cents a share. Furthermore, Enron's inevitable declaration for bankrupt. Kinley, the founder of Enron, promoted the importance of high stock price above all else. He pushed employees to focus on raising rates of return by trading assets and borrowing more money. An asset-free balance sheet mean that new resources could come in and trick the public into thinking that the company was highly successful. Lay essentially became the crave for high earning and obsession that caused his company its life. Ultimately, it was Lay's role that set in motion the collapse of Enron. Investor era CFO was a master at manipulation liabilities. He used a technique common among energy corporations that use special purpose entities to relocate liability away from Enron. He made it so that the stock price per share would continually increase, which allowed it to continually hold a high investment rating. Fasto was the reason that Enron got away with the scandal for so long. He enabled the company to hide behind false information and comfortably take advantage of the system. That's all for my part, so I will pass to next presenter.
Hi, okay. My name is Nur Azuraya binti Muhammad Zahri. My metric number 199749. So I will continue my part. Why it is important. So there are still several important reasons for investor to take from the Enron scandal. First, is critical not to have too much of your portfolio invested in a single stock. No matter how to completely the company story may be, the trick of the reversal that you could never predict with your out if you have too much of your money invested in it. Second, the company employee should be especially continue about via the employer stock. In tactic to invest in a business you know well, but if something goes wrong, you risk both losing your primary source of income and taking a big hit in your investment portfolio at the same time. Finally, make sure you understand how a company business works. Most shareholders who understand Aaron's sophisticated trading business, but did really care as long as the stock we moving high. That leave the completely vulnerable to change in the fundamental head of the business in which Enron of operating. So that's all for me. I will pass for next presenter.
Hi everyone, this is Kubrizzaman, my matric number 199540. Today I am going to discuss about three lessons that I have learned from the crooked film or movies. And I have outlined three important lessons such as the business ethics, corporate governance, and the personal branding. First of all, I'm going to talk about the business ethics, how business ethics can impact on a company collapsed. So, business ethics is the key element to run a company based on the honesty and integrity. So, here two important things, that is, we must have to practice the honesty and integrity when we run or operate a company. But Enron Corporation didn't follow the business ethics properly in their businesses. They were indulged in the corruption intentionally. Not only the authority of the company, but also the audit officer was indulged with this corruption. So finally, because of not following the business ethics, the ethics and integrity are the core of sustainable long-term success. So they couldn't exist long-term because of not following the business ethics. Second one. In addition to business ethics, the corporate governance also responsible for the collapse, the falling down of the Enron Corporation or Enron Company. And I have outlined this point also from the Crooked movie. The corporate governance is an inevitable or essential system of rules, process, and principles by which a company is established and regulated. So if we want to practice corporate governance inside the company, we must have to follow some principles and philosophy. And our company will be regulated or run based on the principles and philosophy. And it also protects the partners, employees, stakeholders, and maintaining investor confidence. If the partners, employees, and stakeholders didn't see the maintenance of corporate governance inside the company, they will not invest. If they don't invest in the company, then the company will be fall down. But in the perspective of this movie, also the Enron Corporation, the higher authority of the company and the audit officer was indulged in the corporation. That means they didn't follow the corporate governance. They didn't follow the rules and regulations. They didn't run their company based on the principles and the philosophy. So finally, the Enron collapsed, lack of the corporate governance. Next, please. The final one is corporate branding. Actually, corporate branding is very good things for any company. It is paid huge attention to brand your company instead of product, service, or persons. And corporate branding attracts stakeholders and employees to come to the company and invest more. So, therefore, in 2000, Enron's share is skyrocketed to all-time high of the 19.56 US dollars. So Enron company become one of the most famous company for the corporate branding. So it is a good things for their company. But they use the tricky corporate branding. The tricky corporate branding have two things: the positive and negative. The positive things is it will help to make the company famous within a short time, but it cannot help the company to exist for the long time. What is the tricky corporate branding? Actually, the Enron Corporation or Enron company always try to show their positive things, but they always try to hide or conceal the negative things. For example, they didn't show their mountaining of debts. They didn't show the losing money of their company. Always they trying to show to the in front of the partners and stakeholders that they are earning so much money and companies getting bigger and bigger day by day. So that was the tricky corporate branding. And finally, the Enron company became one of the 100 best companies to work in America by the Fortune magazine. So the corporate branding helps them to become one of the most famous company in the America, but finally they couldn't exit because of tricky corporate branding process. Next. The best takeaway from MGM 41336 that we have learned, actually there are many takeaways, there are many key points that we have learned from MGM 4136 courses as well as from Mr. Mehan. Actually,
he educated us
so many things not only from our course but also beyond the course for our lives, that uh, he gave us so many motivational speeches that will help our building our personal career and personal life. The first thing that I have learned from this course as well as Mr. Mehan, the true wisdom is knowing yourself. Actually, if you think you are an intelligent person, you must have to know who are you, what do you have, what lacking do you have. These are the very, very important for everyone to know yourself, to know myself. Second one is identify your strength and weakness. From this course, I have learned what is my strength point and what is my weakness point. What I need to improve myself, how I need to improve myself. The third one is focus on more personal branding. Actually, personal branding is important facts to become a successful person in your personal life and in your corporate life. So this one also I have learned from this course. And the final one is the be ethical and moral. The being ethical and moral is to justify and identify what is the right thing and what is the wrong things. You have to choose the right one and you have to avoid the wrong one. And you have to keep track on the right things always. And the most important things that I'm going to talk about, the motivational speeches that I have learned from my lecturer, Mr. Mehan. Actually, he gave us so many motivational speeches that will help us, that will trigger us to change our life. I have outlined here only 4 motivational speeches that I have heard during his classes. The first one is dream is free, so make it big. Actually, this is not only a sentence, the denotation or the meaning of the sentence is huge. Actually, if we cannot make our dream bigger, how we can be a great person, how we can be a successful person. So if you want to be a successful person, you must have to make your dream bigger, then you can be a successful person. The second one is, show me your five best friends, I will tell you who are you. This sentence or this quotation actually indicate us to make our friend as we want to make our career, because your friends who are around you will help you to motivate you, will help you to achieve your goals. So you must have to be careful when you make a friendship with someone. The third one is, it is a dream until you write down, then it is a goal. That means you are dreaming so many things, but you didn't write down, you didn't make a plan, and you are not going to execute your plan. So it is not a goal. It is only dreams. But if you want to be a successful person, you must have to make your dream. You must have to turn your dream into a goal. And finally, you have to achieve your goal. Then you can be the successful person. The final thing is, do not regret for the things that you didn't do. Do regret for the things that you have done. That means this quotation denotes that you take risk and you do whatever you want to do in your life, or finally at the end of the life or one stage you will regret for something that you didn't do. So this sentence or this quotation trigger us to take risk and accept whatever in front of you for getting a successful person. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cody. So for me, what I gained from the subject that I learned from Mr. Mehan for my future was how I could become a professional leader. Leaders must have high discipline, because without discipline can also shape others to succeed. Therefore, leadership is not an easy thing, not just the ability to give instruction for this and that. It is actually the highlighting of the inner characteristic of our personality that results from the discipline and never practice applied throughout life. So that's all for my part. Thank you.
Okay. What I have learned from the MGM 4136 is that life is about making mistake about because from there we can learn. He said to use to go and make from the mistake, because to more mistake we did, the more we learn from the mistake, we will learn how to make it right and how to improve ourselves. Mistake is not about life failure. It is about how we turn the mistake into the valuable life lesson. For Thomas Edison making many mistakes in this journey to create a bulb. The mistake are part of being of edits and learning process. When we expensive for failure, we should know give up and fail. Statistic, but we must think that see failure we make use grow up and make him use become a better person. Another thing that I have learned is about being in a trainee in whatever find with study or works. Become a trainee, we give you so much experience and also benefit in life, and of course we should to be a good trainer, the benefit people that we trainee. I admit that when I joined this class and listen to she lecturer with some less life advice, I will feel motivated. I have learned that the concept in the way of the learning process. First, pedagogy is the way of learning process, which is combination of the two concepts, pedagogy, which combination and ideology. For example, we come to the class, we are willing to come. We feel that the content is available and useful for our life. We feel that the way of the content being developed in is good, that make you can memorize. They can so many thing that I have linked is this class, but it's required 3 things only. It is used a lot about life and study and how to a good person, how to come benefit other people. So what I have learned for MGM 4136 is that life is about making mistake because from there we can learn. He said to use go and make some mistake, because the more mistake we did, the more we learn from the mistake. We will learn how to make it right and how to improve ourselves. Mistake is not about life failure. It is about how we turn the mistake into the valuable life lesson. Even Thomas Edison making many mistakes. It is in she journal to create a view. This mistake a part of being adept and learning process. When we experience some failure, we should not give up and feel strategic, but we must think but that this failure we make use grow up and making you become a better person. So another thing I have learned is about being a trainer in whatever field we study or work. Become a training we give you use so much experience and also benefit in life, and or of course we should to be a good trainer that benefit people that we train. I admit that when I joined this class and listen to she lecturer with some life advice, I will feel motivated. I have learned that there is the concept in a way from learning process. First, pedagogy, which is the combination of two concepts and ideology. For example, we come to the class because we are willing to come. We feel that the context is available and useful for our life. We feel that the way of the context being develops in good, that making of can memorize. There are so many things that I have learned is this class, but he required 3 things only. It is used a lot about life and study and how to be a good person, how we can benefit other people, how to improve our life, how to improve good manager and leader, and so on. These 3 things affect to me a lot, but I will keep the other mind and head. So that, thank you, Mr. Mehan. So I will next my friends.
So for the last part, my best takeaway from this subject, MGM 4136, is Mr. Mahan really stressed this a lot in the class, and he's been repeating this over and over again, saying that honesty is always the best policy. Transparency. In other words, I would like to call it transparency, where you don't hide anything from your employees when you're a manager, or you don't hide anything at all from your life. You just be open and be honest with your situation, or be honest wherever possible, because honesty is where your integrity is at. So I think integrity is measured by um, the amount of honesty that you've held in your life. And yeah, that's all that I can say about honesty. It's the most important thing, and I learned that a lot from Mr. Mehan as well. And the second part is to be confident. Whatever you're doing, there will be good days, there will be bad days, and when you want to go ahead and proceed and move forward with your life, um, and when you want to be a great leader, when you want to be a great manager one day, I think it's important for you to be confident. And most of the time, being confident in conducting your company or in conducting your group is always being seen as a bossy person, and which is what you are doing. You have to boss people around in the right way, but not too bossy. It's just you take up your space into what you're doing. And another thing that I learned from Mr. Mahan is that the opinion of others will not define you. So be who you are and be confident. And that is all from our group, I think. Thank you.